This story begins in 2015, when my wife Maria and I were 44 and 45 years old. Up until then, we had been happily married for 18 years and had 2 wonderful sons. I truly believed we were deeply in love. Although our sex life wasn't perfect, we had other ways of showing affection. We never experienced any rough patches in our marriage. I worked as a self-employed plumber, a business I started around 2009 or 2010, and Maria was a pharmacist. Both of us were doing well in our careers and earning a decent income. One evening, after our sons had gone to bed, Maria and I decided to watch a movie on Netflix. The film was about a poor girl who had struggled with poverty her entire life and eventually joined an escort agency. In the movie, the girl mentioned she was earning about $1,000 per client. Maria commented, "Here I am, spending hours every day in a pharmacy, making in a year what she earns in a month." I didn't think much of her remark and simply replied, "Yeah." After that, we enjoyed the movie, and once it ended, we went to bed. Everything stayed normal until about a month later. It was an ordinary workday, and I came home around 3 p.m. after finishing a job and picking up our sons from school. Around 5 p.m., I received a text from Maria saying she was going out for a drink with a friend after work to catch up. I told her that was fine, so I fed the kids and put them to bed. Later, I was watching football on TV and hadn't noticed the time when Maria came home around 8 p.m. I assumed she'd just had a good time with her friend, so I didn't question her. I asked how it went, and she answered briefly before heading upstairs for a shower. This was unusual because Maria had always been a morning shower person. I found it odd, but I didn't dwell on it. We went to bed as usual. Fast forward to the weekend. Maria mentioned she wanted to go shopping in the town center because she hadn't been in a while. I offered to drive her, but she politely declined and said she'd take her own car. She left, and I stayed home taking care of household chores. Maria was gone for 4 hours without any updates, so I called her to ask when she'd be back. She didn't answer. I texted her, but she didn't read it. After waiting another half an hour, I called her again, and she still didn't pick up. I tried several more times over the next 45 minutes but got no response. Eventually, after being out for 7 hours, Maria called me back and apologized profusely. She explained that her phone had run out of battery and she had to find a place to charge it. I believed her and forgave her. When she came home, we hugged, exchanged "I love yous," and she went to shower. At that moment, I didn't suspect anything. For the next 3 months, life continued as normal. Occasionally, Maria would say she was meeting a friend, and I didn't question her. Sometimes, she worked late and claimed to be at the pharmacy until closing time. She also started working on Sundays more frequently than usual. I didn't see any reason to doubt her. Then, one Friday evening, Maria came home from the pharmacy and told me she'd been invited to spend the night at a friend's house. I found it odd since she often met with this friend and had never stayed over before. Still, I agreed and offered to drive her, but she insisted on driving herself. That night, after Maria left, I was home alone with the boys. Feeling a bit bored, I decided to call her friend's husband, Dean, who was also my friend, and invite him over for a drink. When I asked, "While the ladies are catching up at your place, do you want to come over for a pint?" Dean seemed confused and replied, "What do you mean? My wife is home with me." My heart sank. I asked if he was joking, but he was serious. I could even hear his wife in the background confirming that it was just the 2 of them at home. I ended the call stunned. I tried calling Maria, but she didn't answer. I called her 3 more times and sent several texts, asking if she was okay, but got no response. I was on the verge of calling the police when Maria finally called back. She apologized again, saying she had gone to see another friend and accidentally mentioned the wrong name. She explained that she couldn't answer earlier because they had gone out for dinner. I felt relieved but reminded her to keep her phone on next time. We said goodnight and I went to bed trying to reassure myself that everything was fine. Still, I couldn't shake the nagging thought. Why was she at dinner for so long? The next day, Maria came home around 1 p.m. and acted completely normal. When I asked how her evening was, she casually said she and her friend had relaxed, chatted, and enjoyed a meal together. A week later, I was home when the postman delivered a parcel addressed to Maria. Since she rarely ordered anything, I waited to give it to her when she got back. When she opened it, she said, "Oh, that must be my new phone." I was shocked. "But I just got you a new phone a few months ago," I said. She replied, "Yeah, but I wanted a bigger one, so I bought myself a new one." Although I felt a bit hurt and confused, I let it go. 2 days later, she came home with a new hair curler and hairdryer, both expensive brands. I asked, "Why are you spending so much money on things you already have?" She responded, "I never buy nice things for myself, so I thought I'd treat myself." It didn't feel like her usual behavior, but I didn't push the issue. I told myself her birthday was coming up in 6 weeks, and I could have bought her these gifts. About a week after Maria's sudden spending spree began, we were sitting at the dinner table with our boys, chatting as usual over a meal. That's when I noticed Maria wearing a brand new, sparkling Pandora bracelet adorned with several fancy gems. I asked her when she got it, and she casually replied, "Oh yeah. I forgot to tell you, I bought a new bracelet. Do you like it?" I replied, "It's lovely. But why are you spending so much money all of a sudden on things we don't really need? Your birthday is just over a month away." This clearly annoyed her, and she shot back in a slightly irritated tone. "Come on. I never buy myself things and I really wanted it. And for my birthday, I don't even want any gifts from you. All I want is to spend time with you." The rest of the meal was eaten in tense silence, as neither of us wanted to argue in front of the kids. Yet, her reaction had left me uneasy, and a strange feeling started to creep into my mind. Later that night, before we went to bed, I said to Maria, "I'm glad you're treating yourself to nice things, but please be careful about how much you're spending." She sighed and said, "I'm sorry. I'll be more careful from now on." We kissed, went to sleep, and I tried to brush the uneasy feeling away. But one question kept nagging me. Where was she getting the extra money? A shocking phone call. 3 weeks passed. One Saturday evening, Maria told me she was going out for drinks with her boss, a woman, and a female colleague. I stayed home with the kids, thinking nothing of it. Around 9 p.m. my phone rang. It was a friend of mine whom I hadn't spoken to in weeks. Surprised, I answered, and he quickly got to the point. "Mate, I'm at a pub and I just saw Maria. She's here with a man about your age, and they've kissed a few times." My heart sank. For a moment I was completely silent. Then, trying to process what I had just heard, I replied, "Excuse me? Are you sure it's her?" He responded, "I'm serious. I just walked back from the bathroom and saw them sitting at a table together. I didn't say anything to them, but it's definitely her." I wanted proof. "Send me a picture," I said, my hands trembling. Moments later I received a photo. Though it was taken from a distance, I zoomed in and felt my heart shatter. It was Maria, dressed in a revealing low-cut dress I didn't even know she owned. Her makeup was flawless, her new Pandora bracelet sparkled on her wrist, and her whole appearance screamed confidence and elegance. But all I could focus on was the man sitting with her and the fact that they were there together. Shaking with anger and disbelief, I asked my friend for the pub's address. I left the boys at home, jumped in my car, and drove as fast as I could for the next half hour. Confrontation. When I arrived, my friend was waiting outside. He led me in and pointed toward Maria. Froze. There she was, my wife of 18 years, laughing and giggling with another man. She looked stunning, more put together than I'd ever seen her with me. Her red heels, fitted dress, and jewelry made her the best-dressed person in the entire bar. I walked up to her and lightly touched her shoulder. Maria turned around, and the look of joy on her face immediately turned to one of pure horror. "Maria," I said, trying to keep my voice steady, "what on earth are you doing here? And who is this man?" She stood up quickly, placing her hands on my arms as if to calm me. "Honey, it's just a work colleague meeting. Please don't raise your voice." I looked at her dress, her makeup, and her body language. A meeting? Dressed like that? Not a chance. "You're coming with me." I picked up her bag and walked out, with Maria trailing behind me, mumbling excuses. The man she was with remained completely silent. The truth unravels. Once we got in the car, Maria broke down, sobbing uncontrollably. In a calm but firm voice I asked, "Now tell me, who was that man? And how long has this been going on?" Through tears she stammered, "We're not dating and we don't have a relationship. This was the first time we met." I pressed further. "Then who is he? And why are you wearing that dress?" What she said next left me stunned. She admitted that, for the past few months, she had been working for a high-class escort agency. She had quit her job as a pharmacist and had been spending her days and evenings with clients instead of at work. All the time she said she was meeting friends or working late had been lies. She explained that after watching that movie about an escort, she became fixated on the idea of earning quick, easy money. After her first week of escorting, she realized how lucrative it was and decided to quit her real job altogether. Maria claimed she didn't tell me because she knew I wouldn't allow it. Her sudden splurge on expensive items now made perfect sense. Finally, I asked the question I dreaded. "Have you been sleeping with these clients?" Through sobs she admitted, "Yes. But not with every client." Maria begged me to forgive her, saying she loved me, wanted to fix things, and would quit the agency immediately. But I had heard enough. Aftermath. I drove Maria straight to her parents' house and left her there. Back home, I sat alone in silence, trying to process how my happy, stable marriage had crumbled in a matter of months, all because of a movie and her desire for more money. In the weeks that followed, we tried to talk and work things out, but the trust was gone. Ultimately, we divorced. Maria moved in with her parents, and the boys now spend weekends with her. As for me, I've embraced single life and am focusing on raising my kids. Though the pain of betrayal lingers, I'm finally at peace.